Two.
You're a trap, don't seem to mind it. You attract me, I'm a mouse, you're a cat. I don't seem to mind it. Soft and furry, oh, and just when I think I'm safe, snap. Turns out I'm never safe, snap. Just when you think you're safe, snap. I come back, you don't seem to mind it. But I'm a fool, broke my back, you don't seem to mind it. 'Cause you're so cool. And just when I think I'm safe, snap. Turns out I'm never safe, snap. Ooh. And just when you think you're safe, snap. Turns out I'm never safe, snap. Ooh. Just when I think I'm safe. Turns out I'm never safe. Just when you think you're safe. It turns out I'm never safe. Turns out I'm never safe.
Two.
You're a trap.
Have you ever gave up hope, looking for a way to cope, all alone in a castle by yourself, knowing you were made to rule, looking like a royal fool? If you only had someone to help. We got to clean these rodents out. There ain't no way we're gonna let them run this place. I'll show them what this king's about. It won't be long before we get them on the run. Here's what I propose we do. I'm gonna count on you, give you all the cheese that you could ever want. If you wanna be your best, put your trap up to the test. Buy some super brie and watch the suckers come. Oh yeah, we got to clean these rodents out. There ain't no way we're gonna let them run this place. I'll show them what this king's about. It won't be long before we get them on the run. We got to clean these rodents out. There ain't no way we're gonna let them run this place. I'll show them what this king's about. It won't be long before we get them on the run. Have you ever gave up hope, looking for a way to cope, all alone in a castle by yourself?
MouseHunt. Welcome to Feedback Friday. It is July 1919. How's everybody in the chat doing today? Hello. Clarence, Jason, Ben, Enu, Eileen, Nico, Laura, KDM, Eric. Hello, hello. Eno was asking, do Jacob and I alternate? For the most part, yeah, but it kind of depends a little bit on our schedules, just in case. Sometimes it'll be more convenient for one of us to do it than the other. So it's not set in stone, but generally speaking, we do kind of alternate week to week. Mari says, hello, happy summer, same to you. It is definitely hot and sweaty here today. I knew it was going to be a humid day because I walk out my front door and my sunglasses instantly fogged up. Oh, it's going to be a sweaty day. Suzanne Taraco, hello, thank you for joining us. Well, today, if I can be smaller here, I'm going to go over Big Jack, which is coming to Queso Canyon next week. I'll give a quick little update on the Valor Rift as well. So you may have seen on the wall, we were kind of encouraging people to update their app because you'll need it to take part in Big Jack Spice Shack. Not the app, that is, but if you're using the app, you'll need to update it. If you use the browser version or on Facebook, obviously you don't have to download any updates or anything. It'll just be there when you load up the game. So make sure if you do use the app, you go grab that update so you have everything you need to take part in Big Jack. It's going to run from, let's see here, I'm infamous for giving the incorrect dates, but she will arrive on Tuesday, July 23, depart on Tuesday, August 6, which is 2 weeks if I recall correctly. While she's visiting the region, she's going to be setting up her Spice Shack at all the general stores in the region, so you can use any of the various areas. There's Queso River, Cantera Quarry, the Prickly Plains, and Queso Geyser as well. You'll be able to visit her Spice Shack to exchange up spices, as well as purchase new blooming spice plants. As well as while she is visiting the region, you'll be able to find various bland queso kegs that contain up to 1,500 bland queso as loot drops as well. So it also kind of works as a bonus bland queso event as well. Those kegs, you'll be able to find them anywhere. It doesn't matter where you're hunting. You don't need to be in the river to collect them. You can even collect them in Queso Geyser, where they will directly drop as loot drops as well. So you won't have to wait to open up your nest. You can find them as you hunt along. Fortunately, I guess they're extremely heat resistant and buoyant that you can find them in the river there. You'll have to excuse my CPU fan. Seems to be kicking into high speed here. It seems to be the norm as I start streaming video. Mario says, could you arrange to up the amount of Notchore with Big Jack, please? There won't be any bonus Notchore, but there will be a new way to spend Notchore. You'll be able to purchase mild spice leaves for 10 Notchore and a single magic essence. Similarly, the leaf exchange works for exchanging up your spices. You can exchange 2 mild and 1 magic essence for a hot. Kind of similar exchange rates as well for the other spices. As you get up spicier, you need a few more leaves to upgrade it, but it's always just a single magic essence. So the leaf exchange, you can almost think of it like Ronza's wealth charms. If you have just all these wealth charms and you feel like there's no way I'm going to actually hunt with all these wealth charms, you can trade up your wealth charms to upgrade them. And although you might end up with less gold at the end of it when you use up all your wealth charms, you can use them in a much shorter period of time. So a similar sort of thing if you have way too much Notchore or you have way too many mild leaves, you're like, no way am I going to craft all this into cheese and do several thousand hunts with mild. You can exchange them up and you'll end up doing fewer hunts and fewer resources grand total, but you'll get resources faster by being able to use it up much quicker. Kevin asks, what time is it for me? It is 11 a.m. Well, now 11:04. KDM says, time to cash in all the magic essences for flaming leaves. Yeah, it's definitely a good, compelling use for it. If you've kind of been stockpiling the trickle of magic essence that comes on in, if you're looking to put that to good use in Queso Geyser, it's a good use for it. Finally, as well, the last note with Big Jack is you will be able to purchase blooming spice plants from her Spice Shack. And you purchase them with bland queso as well as some wild tonic to fertilize the queso. And it grows some plants, and I think I have one right here. I think this is the medium one. And you can harvest them for a random assortment of spices, anywhere from mild spice to Flaming Spice, and the large one even has a small chance of giving Ember Roots and Stones as well. So this is the medium-sized one, which was maybe a poor choice. We always run into problems when we're doing the copy that there's medium spice and medium size, and so it gets a little bit confusing. But the mild and the hot don't suffer from the same thing. But they'll be small, medium, and large blooming spice plants. The large ones have more leaves, and they also have a chance of spicier leaves. Jonathan says, I haven't done any math yet, but 1 ME per leaf sounds kind of expensive. It kind of depends. It's in line with using your magic essence to craft more cheese in general as well, so it kind of ties in with that. It's definitely a little bit more worthwhile on the spicier ones, so it kind of depends on what your stockpile is looking like. Diamond asks, will there be any drops of Wild Tonic? Nothing out of the ordinary, nothing Big Jack specific. No, just the bland queso will be the kind of bonus loot drop. It works out to be about a double bland queso event if you have a level 10 pump. I think the drops will average out to add an extra 225 bland queso, somewhere around there per hunt. Your Wild Tonic will also double the drops of the kegs as well, which boosts that a little bit higher. The drops as well, they're going to be using similar kind of functionality of some other mini events we've run where the loot drops are adjusted for your catch rate, and the kegs are about a 1 in 3 chance to drop each hunt. The small has 250, the medium has 500, and the large has 1500 when you tap open the kegs. Scrib asks, will there be any special bundles in the premium shop? Yes, I believe, what do we name it? It's Big Jack's Big Bundle. Will be showing up in the premium shop while she's visiting, and it contains Magic Essence, Wild Tonic, Bland Queso, and I believe the large blooming spice plant. Beth says, like that it will help people still in the area, but don't feel like you have to go back for it. Yeah, it's just a mini event, helps out in the area if you're looking to kind of accelerate your progress a little bit there, or exchange up some leaves if you feel like your resources are a little out of whack for how you like to hunt. But there's no sort of limited edition items or no unique things to earn, so by all means as well, if you're kind of done with Queso Canyon or you're not interested in it, it's easy enough to skip and stay focused on whatever your goals are at the moment. Stejan asks, will the queso kegs drop 1 cork bark upon opening for the sake of flavor? We were playing around with that idea, actually, because they are corked, and you can see the small one. I don't think that actually made it in. I'll take a note. It's very interesting that someone else had the same idea. I'll make a note here on stuff to go over. Maybe we can squeeze that in again. We were about to do it, and then we kind of decided, nah, but we thought it would be kind of cute when you tap open a keg that the cork, you just get 1 cork bark for removing the cork from the keg. It's somewhat insignificant in the grand scheme of things in terms of loot drops, but it's just interesting to see somebody else kind of have a similar idea. Daniel asks, cork cheese. Yeah, no plan for the corky corked queso or anything like that. We're still kind of brainstorming how we want to maybe put excess cork to use. The maps were updated when we added Cinderstorm. That did remove the, not the chance of, but now corky is just a chance to appear on a mouse. I believe it's 50-50 now that the Cinderstorm was added. So that did kind of help address maybe some of the excess cork that was piling up from people who were really focused on maps. Ben says, I'll be chasing my Munger Silver instead. Good luck to you. I am chasing a 1,000 catches of Twisted Carmine, and I think I might stick to that. I feel like I'm all systems go on that. Stejan asks, has the excess cork bark issue come up in another way to give it some extra use? I'm still kind of brainstorming that a little bit, but we're open to suggestion as well for hunters who feel like their supply of cork bark is piling up faster than they could realistically use it. Keating says, I see canister rings on the side of those. I guess that's a pretty good comparison because they are very canister-like. Keith is chasing a rack of ribs. Oh, I always get hungry when we start talking about the ribs. Nathan says, could we alternatively use cork bark to buy the maps instead of not? Sure, I mean, that's an option as well. I don't know if we would necessarily go with that, make that change, but maps are an interesting use for excess supplies as well. They did kind of one way to address the excess notchore that kind of piled up. If you weren't interested in picking up Dragonbane Charms, which is probably one of the more compelling things to get with your notchore, the Grand Tour map requires quite a little stash of notchore to get it going. So that's kind of an indirect way to exchange your notchore for bland queso by buying the Grand Tour map, because it does have a fairly generous reward of bland queso. That's going to take some time. So notchore plus time, you can turn it into bland queso. Diamond says, why is Jack a person instead of a mouse? Well, because she's a shopkeeper and a merchant, and generally we don't, typically, I don't know if it's official lore, but we don't do too much business with the mice, I guess. So perhaps the king has a trade embargo upon the all of mice business interactions there. Bottled Samurai says, would be happy with a cork bark from popping open the kegs. Yeah, it is kind of a cute idea. I mean, I'll run that by Giorgio one more time as well, see if he agrees, run it by the rest of the team as well. But I know Giorgio thought that might be a little cute idea to do. And Jonathan says, someone managed to get my rib on my first epic with 30 calar catches. Congrats. I did not. I think I did 5 to 10. I forget how many calar catches I have. I did purchase my rib, though. Although, hindsight, maybe I shouldn't have, because I haven't really put it to good use yet. Nathan says, has anyone actually bought Baitkeeper Ultimate Charms with Notchore? Actually, we don't have anything logged for, or we would. It would be kind of be hard to look up, though. If we found somebody, we can go and see what they purchased from the shop, but it's hard to actually query and find the person, if that makes sense. But basically, kind of in our admin system, we can pull up someone's profile, and every game action you do is kind of logged in a big list. But there's no way to kind of do a query and find a specific identifier for that. Sejan says, a bit off topic, but we're talking about maps. Is Relic Hunter Season 7 Idea Bank to split between area maps and non-area maps, allowing Portamice to return to elite maps as well? That would accommodate that, because right now it's somewhat awkward with the Portal Mice. No specific plans, but we're going to be kind of brainstorming some Relic Hunter Season 7 quality of life improvements for sure. I know we kind of have a big doc. We've been collating a lot of suggestions and feedback from players over the years. I know there was a lot we wanted to do last year, but we didn't quite have time to do it. So actually this afternoon we're kind of review a list. Franco put together the list of kind of player suggestions and feedback as we kind of record it in a whole bunch of spots. So he's correlated it all into one document that'll make it easy for the whole team to go over and help us brainstorm and try to pick out what we want to work on. Relic Hunter Season 7 should come in November if all goes according to plan. We are going to start working on it a little bit earlier than usual. If I have my, I don't know if we've officially scheduled anything quite yet because we haven't firmed up the list of the quality of life stuff that we want to add, but we want to give ourselves a little bit more time because, like I said, last year we didn't have time to get everything in that we wanted to. Mary says, the mice are evil. You can't trade with the evil mice, only catch them. It'd be a bit ironic to be trading with this mouse and then turn around and catch it right after. Beth says, no portal mice on maps curse you. Yeah, probably not, because it's a little bit awkward because you need to do a map to get the resource to encounter the mouse. So if you don't have that, then you have to abandon your map to get that resource. So it's kind of not very compatible at the moment. But like Stejan pointed out, if we ever separated those where you could have your area maps and like special maps, kind of like we do with event and regular maps, that could work. But no, not saying that's something we'll do, but I think it's on the list to discuss, of splitting up the maps further. Ben says there's a Season 7 forum thread. Yes, there is. I forget which section of the forums. I want to say it was in player suggestions and feedback. But actually, yeah, Franco went through that. I know actually Michelle highlighted a couple things as well. And so some of those things from that thread made it into our document that we're going to look over this afternoon as we kind of take the first steps to firm up the list. I think the goal is within 2 or 3 weeks we want to really firm up that list. And then we can start delegating and scheduling all the work and see what we have time to pull off. Jonathan says, transfer of map ownership without people leaving, please. Yes, that is on the list. So a way of maybe even just setting a different captain, and then when you leave the map, obviously that person would remain captain. So we're playing around with a few ideas there. Ryan says, Dave, just asking you if we also get ribs in upcoming Halloween and Great Winter Hunt events. I can't say with any certainty quite yet. We haven't even really started work on them. That said, actually, the Halloween event, we did just get started on it a little bit this week. So we've been, as always, during the Halloween 2018 event, we already make our sort of milestone for Halloween 2019, and as we get feedback, suggestions, and stuff like that about the event, we put it right into our next year's milestone, and so it's just a nice way we can't miss it. As soon as we start planning that out, we get to review all the feedback, and that kind of goes into shaping the new design doc for the event. So we're just in the process of looking over feedback, and then we want to firm up a doc. I think it was this week or next week. We want to kind of at least have a design proposal ready so that we can start building Halloween. Stejan says, but there are nice mice as well. Hope, treasure. You still catch them though, in a way. So I think that I forget what their descriptions are exactly, but I thought it was they snuck into the king's vault and stole the king's credits, which seems to be a reoccurring trope in the game of the mice always steal things and we get it back from them. Huang asks, can you share some info about upcoming new area? Like, will it be announced before Halloween or something like that? That's what we'll get to right next. And actually, we'll shift gears, I think, momentarily, but I do have a quick update on the Valor Rift as well. Nathan asks, is there any discussion of making auras more accessible or formalized for not-whale players? They're reasonably accessible. They're a challenging map. It's a bit of a caveat of the maps where there's definitely people get invited to a map with one mouse left, but that's just kind of just inherent to the system. I don't think there's really a way to go about reorganizing that, and if that's kind of how people want to interact with it, then that's okay if you're having fun doing it that way. Nico says Big Jack looks a bit like the Oracle in the Matrix. Does she bake cookies? I don't know if I see that actually. I think the Oracle, she was a little older, I thought. Here's here, I'm Googling a picture of her. Oh, maybe. Like the curly hair, maybe. Yeah, the curly kind of mid-length hair, although I think like she has her, Jack looks like she has her hair up a bit more. I feel like it would be a little bit longer. The face is very different, I don't know. Similar cheekbones, maybe, kind of bright cheekbones. Yeah, I don't know. Asphyxiating Oxygen. Interesting name. Says, I was wondering if on that suggestions already map, is there any talk about reworking map rewards, particularly area maps? Sometimes rewards don't justify the work required. For the area maps, there's a lot of times they are just a nice little bonus on top because they don't really present an extra challenge to go above and beyond per se. They're a little bit of coordination if you're taking it on with a team, but some of the more impressive rewards we say for maps that maybe are a little more demanding on you to travel to multiple locations and use a few more resources. But as is, we don't go too overboard with the map rewards because for the most part, for just the cost of some relics, it adds bonus loot to your progress because you've, for instance, if you're doing Queso Canyon or something, just going through the normal progression chain and you pretty much complete your map without really going out of your way or sacrificing too much time. So that's something we keep in mind, but the area-specific maps are always kind of a little more subdued in terms of reward than the Relic Hunters or anything like the Slayer or something that takes you across multiple locations. Stejan says, event season related. While so far it has been confirmed most events will be reruns from last year, do you plan on doing some old events like the pillowcase, cupcakes, toboggan, etc.? Too early to say, I guess. Definitely not committed to anything specifically. Halloween, we might mix that up. We've been trying to find a way to give each of the events a little bit more of their own unique identity, and definitely kind of maybe tone back a little bit on some of the loot pinata effect that some of the events have. Maybe save that for the Great Winter Hunt as being an exciting event that's all about collecting area resources. In a similar vein, the Lunar New Year event is nice in that it is very loot-based, but it's also just enhances what you're doing by doubling or tripling drops. So I feel like that has its own unique identity as well. So we've been playing around with trying to make the birthday event a time where you can earn some super brie at a little bit better rate than normal. Halloween as well, we might kind of shift back and make it more about cool traps and LE items, things like that, and tone down some of the area-specific loot. And then finally, the spring egg hunt as well. We've been kind of brainstorming. That was a big discussion last year as well of what we want to do with the spring egg hunt. But obviously, it's a lot about collecting the eggs. Daniel says, "I hate Carl." Carl might be involved in this Halloween event, but it's a little too early to say. How's the costume Mouse for next Lunar New Year coming? It'll be a rat mouse, I would think, isn't it? You're the rat, technically, so a little bit of leeway there. Sled racing, please. That was so much fun. You know what? That might be a good segue there, Nico's comment, to shift gears over to the Valor Rift here at the 20-minute mark. But want to give an update where we are at the Valor Rift. And I say that's a bit of a segue because the current iteration of the Valor Rift that we were working on had you kind of racing an opponent to the top of the gauntlet. And if you get there before your opponent, you get a bonus reward. And so it kind of actually, a little bit of inspiration as we're playtesting it. Felt a little bit like that toboggan race where it was first to the bottom of the hill and you got a special prize for coming in first place. But you always got a prize for at least finishing the race. Now, that said, we've been kind of doing some early play testing and revealed a few issues where it got a little bit perhaps repetitive. It revealed some other kind of problems that might need some relatively significant design changes and tweaks to address. Like I said, the original one was 8 floors, and each time you defeat it, so if you make it to the top before your opponent makes it to the top, you then unlock the ability to try the next level up tower, where everything's just a little harder to catch. And then if you beat that version, you can try the level 3 tower, and so on and so on. And the rewards keep getting better the more difficult version you choose to start. But now we're kind of experimenting, or we're kind of exploring the idea of making it more of just an endless tower. It just has forever endless floors, and you keep repeating the same sort of 1 to 8 floors, but once you go through all the themes and you start on, so you're back at a puppet theme floor, everything's a little tougher then. And we're going to kind of play around with that, see if that feels a little bit more fun and exciting. Whereas instead of it being this foot race that you can potentially lose, it kind of shifts it more to how far can you get. Because it definitely, as we were playing it, it felt very unnatural to put in a lot of time and effort, and then when you didn't make it to the top before your opponent, is a little bit too big of a letdown even, and it's just inherent to the design there. So we're going to kind of play around with that a little bit, and we're going to see where that goes, probably next week, but we'll be discussing it today. Nathan says, wait, so racing another MH player or a CPU? Yeah, it'd be an opponent, and we were exploring different narratives of whether it was some sort of sentinel sort of character that as soon as you enter the gauntlet, it's like the alarm system for the eclipse, and it starts rising up the tower to warn the eclipse that you've entered the gauntlet. Or other things where the eclipse is kind of doing a rift ritual at the top of the tower, and you only have so long to make it to the top before he completes the ritual and then exits and escapes, and so you don't get the opportunity to defeat that version of the tower. Fan is going crazy, says Katie. And yeah, one day I really should just buy an external microphone, I think. That would solve that problem. Where the fan can go, but then the microphone is not next to the fan. That would probably be better off. Asphyxiate on. Valor Rift sounds fun. Can't wait. Hopefully it comes together. It was kind of meant to be a relatively smaller scale release, actually, for us. At least in terms of mouse and art scale. Number of mice that would be involved. To kind of, we really want to get an Archduke area level in the game sooner than later. And that would kind of give us some time as well over event season to be working on a much larger, high-level area. That we've been kind of playing around the ideas with, where it's themed after floating islands, and it would come after Mouse Picchu. Yeah, Uncle Gan asked, opponent mice or another hunter? It would be probably not a mouse. If we went with that iteration, we'd explore the narrative. But basically the idea of a timer, you only have so long to make it there. In some ways, it has some similarities to the iceberg in that way, where you're trying to get to the bottom of the iceberg before you run out of time. And that timer is the iceberg crashing into the shore. So that would have a similar idea where you don't have so long to make it to the top of the gauntlet before the eclipse escapes or before something makes it to the top to warn the eclipse. We did kind of like the theme of going up against some other sort of entity because it's just good feedback. Anytime it's ahead of you, you know you're going a little bit slow and you need to speed up. And anytime you're ahead of it, you know, okay, I can lay off the gas a little bit, save some resources. I think I'm going to win this race. Similar to the toboggan event where you're using nitro and stuff. But if you're way ahead of your opponent, or once you have enough upgrades, you're like, I don't even need to use the nitro. I know I'm going to win the race. Whereas now we kind of want to explore, if it were endless, maybe a little bit more like the Sunken City in a way, where you're loading up all your upgrades and your resources to see how far you can get, but it'd still be a little different from the Sunken City where it would still come to an end. At one point you face off against the eclipse, that kind of resets you, you build some upgrades, almost like Fort Rocks in a way actually. You go back to your base camp kind of thing, upgrade to your abilities, so next time you run through the tower you can do some different things to try to push your height even higher, make it to a higher floor. You think there'd be telephones in the rift, maybe all the mist creates too much interference, I don't know. If the floors are endless, how can there be a final eclipse? We'd work that into at a certain height. You would challenge a different version of the eclipse by making it so high. Uncle Gan says, I like the mic capturing the fan. It's a cute distraction. Oh, good to know. August or September release. We can't really commit to a release date yet, especially because some problems have come up. So we're trying to address those. Our goal, though, it's not, by no means is it a release date, but we really want to get it out before event season. So that would probably place it in September, I would think, if all goes well. Though that's, like I said, that's our goal. I think that will be definitely good for the game to have a high-level area in before event season. And then that'll kind of clear our schedule as well. While event season's going on, we'll be able to work on another high-level area to release at the end of event season. Swift says, an endless cycle of 8 levels feels meh. Yeah, definitely. It would change a little bit as you go up. So after the floors repeat so many times, some new characters would come into play. There'd be some new mice to find at extremely high-level floors. Ryan says, when will the Rift version be no more, or are you going to stop the Rift version at a feature in an area? Yeah, hard to say. Probably somewhere around the Living Garden, but kind of haven't really plotted out the story that far in advance, so that's kind of where the rifts began, so it makes sense that might be where they come to an end, but there might be a really cool creative idea how to turn things on their head when we get there, so we'll see. Ben asks, will it have its own stockpile? I don't know if you mean in terms of events, maybe because if it was ready before event season. I don't know, it'd be hard to say. Being so new, we'd probably want to have it take part in some of the events where you can take part in the events in regular locations. I don't know if the gameplay would be too compatible for stockpile kind of mechanics, but we might be able to make it work. Aries asks, empowered magical string cheese, no plans for it at the moment. Rift LG confirmed, well, not confirmed, but just kind of random thoughts. Twisted Garden is Rift LG itself. Yeah, that's kind of the idea, is that the twisted versions of the garden and the crypts and the city, well, not of the crypts, but the dunes is the crypts when it's twisted, those are kind of rifts in and of themselves. So it kind of starts off the rift storyline and it's spread out because of Twisted Carmine. So it'd be kind of weird to do a rift Living Garden because it already has its rift sort of built in because it was the start of the rifts. Love the Living Garden. Glad it's become relevant again, says Catherine. I've been in there myself as well. See, actually, I should probably sell my horror. Closed it for the sake of my CPU, but oh, I went on a hunt with a friend. I have a friend in here. It's a rarity. Alright, I got one friend in the area. Sounded my horn for me. Oh, I'm at 10 salt. I don't know, when do you usually catch the king grub? I usually play it pretty safe, and I get it up to 40. Let me actually make some double salt charms. Let's make a few of these here. If I'm going to go 30, let's make 15. This is maybe you want to update the interface to support double salt charms, though, I'll tell you that. I don't like going to the crafting section. Actually, I prefer it on mobile because we have an arm button now. It kind of makes me really want to add an arm button after you craft something on the browser as well, because quite often when I craft something, I'm going to use it immediately, usually. Swift asks, do you need a new Rift detector in Valor Rift? That's been a popular suggestion, so I think we want to explore that. You have to modify your Rift detector in some way, kind of go through to unlock it a little bit. So we might explore that. Interested to see what hunters think as well. Like I said, it's been a popular suggestion that's come up in the chat, so I think we've had feedback that hunters like unlocking an area or finding a map piece, discovering it somehow. Mark says, Gouda string cheese, or do we have to wait for Tribal Rift? That is the plan, to add it with the Tribal Rift. So although technically it is in the game right now, in a technical aspect there is an item called Gouda string cheese, but it has no artwork, or it does have artwork. I think I created the artwork. It's amazing, by the way, but there's no way to obtain it in-game. Let's see if I can find this amazing artwork. I can show everyone my endless bounds of art talent. Look at that, beautiful. Stunning, I'd say. The artists are going to be probably concerned that, you know, their jobs might be obsolete with such amazing artwork done by a developer. Let's see if I can find this. Alright, media file. For some reason the search does it, or I can't paste in the search box in the file browser on Mac. That's very annoying. That is the world's smallest image. I guess I didn't make a high-res version. Forgive me, Jacob's amazing mouse artwork is about to get covered up by my amazing cheese artwork. So that's technically in the game. That does exist. There's just no way to get your hands on it, but it is a string cheese with the same attraction rate as Gouda. And it's quite obvious that it's string cheese, I would say. Yeah, Nico's so refined, rich emotion and creativity. I agree. It's a moving art piece. I slaved over it for seconds, I think. It was probably about 12 seconds of just dedicated art creativity. Session says, you know the formula, salt becomes less effective when you salt more. That would be smart, actually, if I just looked that up, maybe. I don't think I was too overly involved. I think the Living Garden, when did that come out? I think I was building the mobile app when the Living Garden came out. Probably why I'm not too intimately aware of some of the inner workings of it. To the wiki we go. MouseHunt timeline. To the diligent wiki editors maintaining this timeline, I thank you from the bottom of my heart, because I use it on a regular basis. Okay, I'm getting close, getting close. November 2012. That sounds about right. Because the mobile app came out October 2012, so I was definitely working on the mobile app in 2012. Ben says, what about Ninja Bread Cheese? Yep, that never made it in there. That was an original iteration of the mountain adventure where we were going to have the ninja kind of be the final mouse there, but it ended up being the abominable soul mouse, and that content got scrapped. And I forget the exact details, it was very long ago, but somehow that content made its way into the production version of the code and went live without there being actually anything for the content. Basically, the items went live without the content being there, so not quite sure how that happened. Beth says, thumbs up for a new way to unlock the Valor Rift. Yeah, good to know. Other hunters can let us know what you think as well, but it seems that that's a pretty popular suggestion to kind of have to attune your Rift detector, go through a couple little challenges before you can take on the Valor Rift. And we'll get rid of this string cheese here. I won't disgrace Jacob's far superior art any longer. Purple said, my eyes are leaking such beauty. I know. Maybe it's just too moving. I better just hide it for the sake of everyone's sanity. And Catherine says, Jacob's job is safe. Yeah, I think that's It's a safe assumption. I'm pretty sure that's Jacob's mouse, actually. I don't want to speak out of turn, but I am fairly confident. Let me see. Valor Rift, where are you? There you are. I believe, is that the Terrified Adventurer mouse? I believe it is a mouse that is attracted to gauntlet string cheese. At the moment, anyway. Yes. And it was uploaded by Jacob 17 days ago, so yes, that is Jacob's. I can usually tell. Usually might be generous. I'm wrong quite frequently, actually. And KDM says, petition to use this image when Gouda String officially releases. That would be a fun Easter egg, maybe, but I don't think any sort of art direction would be left up to me in that regard. I think I'd get overruled in a hurry. And says, lining up an MS Paint isn't easy. I don't even know if I used MS Paint. It was on a Mac, so it had to be, I don't know, I was probably using Acorn, I think. That's at the time I was using that editor. Now the preview app's actually decent for doing very basic stuff like that on Mac. The OG mobile app, I don't know what OG stands for, Ben, what you're asking there. Lamb says, I was thinking the final eclipse could be divided into crescent quarter half full eclipse. I think at the moment, and again, some might change as we explore this infinite tower concept if that ends up working out. But at the moment, we have shade of the eclipse and the total eclipse. There was an original idea for it was kind of two towers, and one was solar, one was lunar, and you're kind of getting the sun and the moon to line up to create an eclipse and summon an eclipse in between the two towers to take on a challenge, but that one didn't quite work out. We ended up pursuing this version of it. Vicky says, we need a charm collecting event. The case aware is using up all my lucky power dragon paint charms. That's interesting, though. That might be a good thing, because usually it's the opposite problem, where there's too many charms and you can't use them quick enough. But you can definitely put your Notch-Ore to good use if you're every time you complete an eruption, especially doing epic eruptions, you'll probably end up with some Notch-Ore. You can resupply your Dragon Veins. That said, it's not enough to sustain yourself, but you can restock a little bit. Swift says, what are the rewards for the area? That's something we've been brainstorming, getting a lot of feedback from players as well of what you'd like to see. But now, as we kind of pivot on the gameplay a little bit, that might change where the rewards land. But we're going to keep brainstorming that. We'll look for suggestions from players as well. Dave made this on his old non-copy-proof laptop. Yeah, that must have been on my previous laptop. Might have been, yeah, it was probably on my previous laptop. Catherine says, I love Vicky's idea. Need more charms. We need ways to restock. It might be kind of cool way to upgrade your existing charms, because I know if you probably look at your inventory, you probably have a lot of charms that you don't have a lot of use for. So it'd be kind of a cool way if you could fuse them together or something like that, but without it being too convoluted or complicated, but it'd be a good way to kind of have a charm sync for the charms that aren't the most popular. Original Gangster says, Ben, the mobile app from long ago, I believe it was a very blue color scheme, and it had a big round horn button kind of in the top quadrant of the app. I think we outsourced that one, if I recall correctly, but that was a number of years ago. But in 2012, that would have been the current iteration of the app, kind of built. It's built using web technology. It's built in JavaScript. The other one was in native. If we were to redo it, we'd probably actually do it in native now. Ryan says, I suggest a roulette to choose from the room for full eclipse when you enter his room. Solar and lunar eclipses are too good a lore to throw away. Yeah, it was very neat. I liked the theme of it and the narrative of it. We did kind of struggle to make compelling gameplay around that narrative, though. So, again, kind of something more to brainstorm, maybe. I still see the first app in my list of purchased iOS apps. Yeah, it would have been quite a few years ago, I think. All right, on that note, we'll wrap things up with trivia as my CPU fan continues to blast away. It's usually a good reminder that my laptop no longer wants to encode video for much longer. So 48 is incorrect. Today's trivia question is not a numerical answer. It's very similar to last week's question, or not last week's, but 2 weeks ago. Now keep in line with the trivia question involving catchphrases of sort. And it is, what mouse is associated with the phrase, gotta have my queso? And I did walk over to Giorgio and I go, so, because he often finalizes the descriptions. Franco typically works on a lot of the descriptions there, but then Giorgio will go through, kind of proofread some things, finalize things. I had to come over and I had to say, so does the mouse say gotta have my queso, or is it just in general non sequitur kind of toss in here? Ignata is correct. Mike Mint, I think, is the first person to have the answer correct. And it is indeed the Ignata mouse. He's known for the phrase, gotta have my queso. I suspect that might have been end of the day, close to the deadline, mildly going insane. That may have been in addition to the description. Purple wants to know what the question was. It was, what mouse is associated with the phrase, gotta have my queso? I don't know why it makes me laugh reading that, but let me see if I can change. All right, so down below me, gotta link ig. I spell Ignata. How do you pronounce Ignata even? Gotta have my pops. No, gotta have my queso, not pops. Don't know what you're talking about. Who mildly going insane? The mouse. No, I referred to hit grab staff. Probably a combination of Giorgio and Franco. That's my suspicion anyway. That might have been the very end of the day. Was already doing a whole lot of copywriting and proofreading, and that probably got thrown in. Station says, because I'd be going insane if I didn't have my queso. Yeah. Free rib thanks in advance. Oh no, the link is a rib again. How many times can I do it? 500 Gouda string cheese. Dave, need to fix the title for this video. Uh-oh. Yeah, that's a good point, actually. I usually update it afterwards, but I thought the default title was just MouseHunt Feedback Friday. But maybe Jacob changed a setting somewhere. Thanks for the T-bone. Let me see here. Feedback Friday Art Edition. Yep, look at that. Well, I'm not even sure how to change that. I have to go check out where to set the default title back to something else. Well, we covered some art, though. We covered some amazing Gouda string cheese art. We had that. And, there was, to a lesser degree, I'm still big. I mean, to a lesser degree, there was this art as well, but I think it pales in comparison to my own unique creations. I gotta be honest. I can probably hear if I get rid of this as well. Or, ooh, can I hide that? Ooh, neat. Software does things. Too, and you can see kind of the concept art here. Or not concept, it is probably going to be the final art for the area as well. The rift is down below and everything's turned upside down. Catherine says your art was awesome. Thank you. I'm glad I convinced you of my amazing art. Nico says, one day Dave will actually give a rib link and he won't believe us. Yeah, see, you've cried wolf so many times, but I'm usually pretty diligent about testing those links first. One day, though. We should probably have been meaning for a while the drop-down box. There's this little interface that generates those links. Realistically, probably should not have that item in the drop-down box. It's an expression that I am known for around the office, and probably I get teased about as well, where people don't make mistakes, systems make mistakes. And so if you can make a system that is not mistake-prone, is a good thing. Let's see, Calor. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, that drop-down box does have Caloringus rib in there and sandblasted metal. Or does it? Hold on. That's just scary. It shouldn't be an option, really. I think it's pretty well every item in the game. Sandblasted. No, sandblasted metal gets filtered out. Okay, so we did do that once upon a time. But we're not scared enough of the rib. So let's do that. Let's open this up. Live code coming at you here. No idea where that is now, though. Larry reward? Nope. Search Larry. Larry reward? No, Larry gift. Create Larry gift page. The word metal. Here we go. Exclude items. Beauty. Hard to maintain, though. This should go on a checklist somewhere. F essences, I, H, G, and F essences are also excluded from the list. Good to know. Let's add the rib. I'm doing it. And then I can unequivocally say that this will not happen. Calor-ingus rib. Is in any sort of order? Of course not. Oh, some chrome kits are in there. Probably a good call, I'd say. Soil-based blueprints. Gotta make sure we don't do that. Sandblast, Metal Sphinx Crystal, Oasis Bead, Predatory Processor, RSP Gold, Temporal Shadow Plate, Essence of Destruction, Aromatic Oil, Fresh Living Garden Soil, Soil-based Blueprints, Draconic Geyser Trout. Oh, that's the rib. Essence I, H, G, and F. Now I know my ABCs. No, I gotta have my ribs. I've been meaning for a while to drop down a rib through that drop down. No, to exclude it. There it is. There's a little array in here that says exclude these items. Okay. There we go. So we were paranoid at one point. I'll even make a note because we do have a little checklist that we go through as we finalize releases. And that could go on the checklist is to update the Create Larry gift page. Oh, that can go on the to-do list. All right. Dave, are you still spamming the sand crypts? I sure am. I am just going ham there. Me and the King Grub know each other extremely well. I don't like the sand crypts as much. I feel like I want a charm or something that'll make it more passive for me. Just having to change my charm twice a day, it's just not as nice as the Lost City. I love safeguard charms. I have bought my fair share of them. I think I bought 1,000 from Ronza when she was here, and I bought 2,000 off the marketplace. And then now I'm sitting on 3,000. All right. Well, maybe I got all 3,000 for Bronza this time. I think I ran out. Did you stock up on extra coarse salt? Yeah, I got some of that as well. I'm all set there. Divine Orbs, though. I had to buy a lot of Divine Orbs off the marketplace. I think I bought 1,000 Divine Orbs. That's what I like about the new marketplace system. Before, trying to buy 1,000 orbs would have been quite the big hassle. I would have had to do many offers, go through many things. Selling it as well was always a big hassle to move that many orbs because a lot of people aren't buying a whole bunch at once. If I recall correctly, I think Purple, you gave me some extra coarse salt once upon a time. Silverinum, Golding. I'm just going for as many Twisted Carmine catches as I can get my hands on, which I should be able to do 1,000 once I kind of finish this section. I have 3,700 Grave Blossom petals, and I'm sitting on 814 Lunaria petals and just about 500 Dream Fluff. I want to say these are Dream Fluff. Plume Pearl, that's what they're called. So I'm going to be able to make a lot of Lunaria at some point. Has anyone gold crowned the Shelter? I don't know off the top of my head. I would definitely like some scoreboards. Individual mouse scoreboards would be cool one day to add into the game, but we could check. But I don't think I can do it at the moment. All right, on that note, with trivia wrapped up and everything else good to go at the 50-minute mark, I am going to have to say goodbye to everybody. I'm going to go help out Param. I think he wanted my help with something. I said, yeah, I'll help you out right after Feedback Friday. Give me 45 minutes, and I'm a liar because it's been 48 minutes. So I'm going to go follow up with him as well. He wanted my opinion on something, I think. So thanks for joining me, Hunters. We'll see you. What's going on here? Get out of here, reward link. The time here is done. Thanks for joining me. I'll probably see you in a couple weeks. I would think Jacob will most likely do a Art Edition Feedback Friday next week. I don't think he would have to because I believe I am off next Friday, actually. So I will definitely not be here. So it'll probably be Jacob or No Feedback Friday. Just wrapping up, just in time.
I heard that because Parm mentioned he's watching it and he heard you say, "Oh, I gotta go help Parm because he messaged me at the Lobsters Factory." I ended up helping him.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Unless he had was it a recent question or just before you left?
No, he was like, hey, do you have 5 minutes to go over some
And then
profile
you went
stuff?
to
I
do
said,
this.
sure, after Feedback Friday. Give me
Right.
like
No,
40,
then I
45 minutes.
sat and I looked at it with him to explain
Okay.
what that all meant. But yeah, there's obviously still more stuff.
All right,
I
let's
missed the
do
quar.
another 45!
I missed the quar.
It was
though.
your
It
quar,
was
too.
my quar.
Gotta have him.
Gotta have. Okay, so did anyone recognize what it was even from?
Oh,
What the-
Garrett, yeah, for sure.
Garrett. Well, did they say it?
Yep.
Okay, cool. Did you do the
Pops.
follow up with the like? What was the reference, and then who was the thing?
No, okay.
Because one of the famous, one of those pops, gotta have my pops commercials featured an actor who was famous for which show in 2008? It was 2008. 2015. No, how old is that show now?
It's probably old. I don't know. Hey, I
10?
don't even want to venture a guess. I don't know.
How's it going, everybody? Oh, Gio's here. FBF lasts another 30 minutes.
Well, he helped out Parham already, so I'm useless walking out there now, I guess. It's getting warm in this
They want it. It does feel warm. Yeah, maybe. Did you end up moving the booking for our creative brainstorm to the boardroom?
It's
better
hard
in
to
there.
fit everybody in there, though.
Well, there's no Franco, no Kevin.
Yeah, that's
true.
true. They're off today. I would help.
Someone said they want me to pronounce Ignatia.
Ignatia. I
Yeah.
said Ignata.
Ignata, there's an I in it.
Ignatia makes sense, yeah.
Yeah. Like like it's almost like igneous rock, Ignatia. It's like igniting, Ignatia.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see it.
Aaron Paul, Gio, got you, bro. Thanks, Nico. Have I ever made the MHR? Yeah, some official assets
Yeah.
in the game. We had run out of time, and I was like, I'll just do it myself, and I edited it. So like the null the null onyx stone with like the cracking and the like it's falling apart. I just added little blue lines to it. Basically and then the riff circuitry, the bits, how it's like the original circuitry, and I just broke it into pieces.
Yeah, it's
I
fabulous.
just sloppily copied it and like split it into pieces.
Shall we do a side-by-side comparison? Because I was showing my art.
Yeah, string. Gouda string, right? Yes, of course.
Alright, so let's, I already have that in the software.
Oh,
It's low resolution. You didn't export a high-resolution and transparent PNG, though?
Wait, how'd you already have this pulled up?
Huh?
How'd you already have it pulled up?
While you were speaking.
Literally now, I didn't even see that on the screen. Wow.
Wow. It's like, wow.
What are you doing over there? Trying to import
Looking
an
for the
image?
word media file without typing
Media.
social media. There we go.
Why didn't you
Media
say image?
club.
No, don't.
8, 7, 8. Don't you? You can't
What are you
paste. You can't
doing?
paste into that. You can't paste into that search field.
It's crazy town, dude. It's crazy town. You can make it bigger. Just I don't know. Yeah.
Okay. So, we
So
got this.
that right there. Oh wait, it's like that right there. You can, it's the null. It's the existing onyx stone, but the null version is just my handiwork.
And you got 917 dB.
Oh right, that's in DB.
This was transparent, so you did a better job exporting this
that
one.
over there.
Let's put that over there. And then my amazing.
Well, because
art.
you can see the hard cuts, but then I added a glow around it to kind of mask the. Because I think it's Jacob or Lauren or Maxine drew the circuitry broken. They maybe have little like wires dangling off the edge and make it look a little more art.
It's a collaboration,
And then Dave's.
which is technically in the game. It's just kind of hard
Well,
to
you
find
can't
and
obtain
see it.
I think Dave.
Yeah.
I think Dave won.
Yeah.
Dave won.
We've established this.
No, I think that was because we
like
were
30 minutes ago.
we were
established that,
testing. We were testing the Gouda, and that was just like a placeholder. And then
Yeah.
like, oh, we're not going to put it out yet until like later Rift. And then it went live by mistake, and now it's just
yeah. Well, it's nice that it's there because I still use it to play test existing riffs with
To
you,
see
though.
when
so
it's
that
time.
when it comes out. Kind of. There's some even unique encounters and stuff.
nice. Pux Plus. So. Thank you, Karen.
Air conditioning's broken. This room is unfortunate.
I know it doesn't come out to here. Cool. So, anything else?
Elite Chess probably use the same art, so that's fine. Those are chilling out. Whenever there's Archduke area, we have enough Archduke mice that'll unlock the elite level.
I know it won't be
difficulty.
like that forever, but I kind of hope it does. Like, you can actually buy it that way from one of the cheese shops with string across it. No, someone's gonna want to reuse that for sure. Sorry, Dave.
Blast.
Blast. I mean, if you had drawn, you didn't add text, because text is an art. Just typing.
Anything's art if you want.
This is not a pun.
It speaks to how Derry is pulling on the strings
But there's no strings. You've written the word
of
string.
the bovine. how we utilize it to produce bait from mice.
We don't produce bait from mice.
Whoa. Calm blue ocean.
Calm blue ocean. Cool.
Well, shall we retreat to cooler rooms?
Cooler rooms. Cooler climbs.
And yeah, all right. Do you want to move the meeting to the boardroom from
Do
the
it.
sweat
Yeah,
box?
we're gonna die in here.
All right, here we go. I'm doing it.
Doing it.
Moving to boardroom. Extending so we don't get hooked.
The extra 15, they'll just come in and swoop.
Yeah, otherwise at like 3:19, it could be like
Bah, bah, bah,
or
bah.
3:59. I mean,
It's gonna happen at 3 o'clock anyway. You know it will. Someone's gonna open the whoops and then
it's okay.
change that one on the left though. What's that?
Wow,
one?
that's just a recurring. How do you do?
Oh right, that everyone's visible for the
The mouse
yeah.
icon. I don't send everybody a notification. Chairs are tilting. Chairs are tilting. Is that you evacuating me?
Oh, I don't know. No, I was just wanted to make it. You like this chair? Is it good for your back?
It's more comfortable than these ones because this one's on a slant because it's broken. So I feel like that's
Oh,
a
when Coach G
chiropractic
sends me out to catch it on the
disaster,
slant. Send a bon fromage. That's exactly.
Well, you ready to wrap things up?
Yeah,
Thanks for
thanks for coming by, Dave, and joining me on the end of FBF like you always do and interrupt at the very end. Oh, wait, sorry, I gotta. Oh, it's kind of blurry. Thank you for.
Thank you for.
Thank you for. Thank you, 5. Any other questions?
Questionary questions?
No, I mean, okay, hold on, I gotta address this for you. Joe, with the hot take that word aren't art. Poets and writers may have something to say about that. But the word alone is not a piece of art. I'm talking about an art asset. He didn't write a poem. He didn't write. Dave,
It's subjective.
I've
That's my
proofread
point.
your text, and let me tell you, string. Anyway, words alone, yes, if he meant it that way, but he meant it as a piece of visual art. This right here.
Also, I guess like I'm wearing it.
Whoa! Yeah, I don't know. It's like a badge. Is your string badge? Oh, it's like it's Tony Stark's.
All right, well, that outro slide. How you feel about clicking that outro slide?
You're a little
You're gonna have to select some
Tiny
music too. You're in the
mouse.
driver's seat here.
dooba dooba. Hold on, is this it?
Well, that one there.
This one?
Nope.
What? You just kind of
This
just
slide,
click on
yep.
it, and
There
then
you go.
how about I pick the music?
Okay, cool. Then I'll hit this button here.
Fan's getting louder.
Oh yeah, it doesn't like you.
Oh my
Keep
goodness!
that guy. That scene selected. The plus.
What are you talking about? Oh, okay.
And then media file.
Media.
Media.
The
Not-
me-
no,
social
not
media.
Social media. Not social
Oh,
media.
why did they write the word media
Yeah,
twice?
media. Too many medias. Too many medias.
Fan's going nuts.
And then you can either go to the folder.
I'm
or
gonna
just
type
search for
MP3.
something. Well, it's going to be a few files.
Do you have it on your music download or you stream it? Come on.
Yeah, that's true actually.
Come on.
So I don't think there's anything on there.
Come on. Wind howl, wind howl, wind howl, wind howl, wind howl. All right, hold on. Oh my god, the music. What is this called?
Okay, go to MouseHunt here.
Okay. Documents.
Trunk, application.
You only have 2? Oh, you have branches.
Yeah, branches. And then MH_album.
Nice. I
Take
like.
your pick.
I'm gonna go
I played
with the
Snap
classic.
coming. That's a
yeah,
classic.
I like
yeah.
the classic, the
You're
first
restoring a
classic.
classic.
Restoring a classic.
Then you hit the play button, and then you move the scene into view.
Excuse me, where's the play button?
Little tiny
Oh
guy.
my goodness.
Yeah, interfaces are good. There you go.
All right.
Oh!
Oh, what's happening?
Oh, because the music isn't in this scene.
Oops, I
Okay,
broke
so you
it.
can-
Start
All
over.
right,
again. Start over. All right. All right. Will we keep the mic going because that's tied to the
I
camera?
think the mic is going too there. Yeah, looks like it. Where is it?
Do you hear us? Test. Yeah. Because the red bar. Look.
Peek the microphone.
Peek the mic. But I can't hear the music now. If I do this, will it be crazy now?
Well, because our voice is gonna be.
quiet.
taking over
The microphone was speaker.
this old house,
Can't hear it.
waiting for my chance to shine.
There it is.
I am gonna make you mine. All I wanna do is impress you with my
But this
mouth.
sounds like it's like a line
All
dance.
I wanna do is convince you with my cheese. All I wanna do is be the coolest cat here, but I'll need some more super baby.
All right. See you later, everybody. Thanks for joining us for this dancey version of
Extra time
Be Back.
waiting
It's
for me.
Friday.
We dance, dance.
I am gonna catch that fool. You will think I'm really cool.